Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. There we go, here we go, here we go. Okay, I think we're good to go. Anyway, what is going on, everybody? This is Heath Nation 2465, and a little bit of a derivative from the typical gaming that we're used to, but there is a reason for that. And yeah, I mean, we got a lot to discuss. There's been a lot going on these past few days. There's been a reason I haven't been gaming. And yeah, there's a lot of shit going on. You know, with everything that's happened, I'm just like, why even bother why bother doing a gaming stream with all the bullshit that I could just come onto a microphone and talk? So, yeah, we got a lot to cover in the world of pop culture, in the world of gaming, but we're going to have fun tonight. We are going to have a lot of fun, but first, I think it's only right that I pay my respects. As many of you know, the news today, Dolly Parton passed away at 80 years old. Absolute legend. One of freaking one. Yeah, I was pretty bummed when I heard the news. But Dolly Parton, famous musician, famous actress. I don't think anybody ever had a bad bone to pick with her. Because she was just friendly with everyone. She never got into any types of controversy. She was just the sweetheart of America. We lost someone very special. There's only one of freaking one. There's no one that is going to have as much generosity, going to contribute as much to society, and have a smile on their face longer than Dolly Parton. And for that, I say rest in paradise. I'll do a 10-bell salute. Let me pause my music. Nice little 10-bell salute to Dolly Parton. Rest in paradise, you absolute legend. So, as I led off, we are in the middle of a blackout, and this is why I haven't been streaming on PlayStation, because this is a pretty big deal. So, PlayStation 5 blackout continued indefinitely as gamers to miss out on GTA 6. So, for those of you who don't know, PlayStation gamers have been protesting against Sony due to the fact that they are going to get rid of physical copies of games in 2028. And we are in the middle of a blackout. My PS5 has been turned off for quite a while. And that's why we're not doing a gaming stream. We might go on to PS2 or PS3 tomorrow. But I will stick out the PS5 protest. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. I ain't going to force anybody to do it. But just to give you an idea here. So, this is coming from Gaming Bible. Sony is still reeling from the fallout of axing physical games, with angry PlayStation players sticking to their word and powering forward with a PS5 blackout. While this was originally only supposed to cover a week, which I'm probably just going to do a week as well, the once loyal fandom has now vowed to extend it indefinitely. 2026 is a massive one for video games, with the big three of Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony each celebrating their own exclusives. PlayStation is arguably entering the busiest period of the year with the September 15th release of Marvel's Wolverine, which will be a good game. I know Andy's excited for that. And the Goliath of GTA 6 on November 19th. Oh, we'll talk about GTA 6, don't you worry. Although it was originally penciled in as a week of protesting from August 23rd to August 30th, we are currently on the second day, updated language reiterates that this is a minimum that people should be turning away from their PS5s for. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the chase format now. It was always 10 races, to be fucking fair. The Does It Play X account is one of the leading voices of the movement, stating everyone is encouraged to go indefinitely until Sony change course. Pedal to the metal or we won't go anywhere. While GTA 6 and Marvel's Wolverine are obviously the big ones on the horizon, the irate PlayStation community could also miss out on Control Resident, Onimusha, Way of the Sword, and The Blood of Dawnwalker. Oh, those sound pretty cool. The crux of the argument is to move away from physical discs, although the boycott also blames the gaming giant for moving further apart from its fan base. Whether this will take a toll on Sony's bottom line, which it probably won't, remains to be seen, but clapping back at critics, Sony CFO Lin Tao previously told investors the company wasn't seeing any impact on our business. Yeah, because you have advertisers propping you up and shit. Sticking to his guns, Lau concluded, as a result of discontinuation of disc, we don't see that there will be any negative impact on our business. Press fucking X to doubt. However, as I already said, the players have attachments, and we have to think about how to respond to the feedback. This is a fucking thing I don't understand about CEOs. You know, they always like to use these big words like feedback and shit to make it seem like they actually care, but they fucking don't. They just try to make it logistical as a means to get you on board, to make you think that you are, that they're listening to you. But, you know, Medicare, on one of his streams, on one of his Saturday streams, brought up a very good point. You know, we've reached this age, right? And I can back this up. You know, back in the days, right, when we used to have disc, we still have physical discs for the PS2. Gaming companies only had one shot, one opportunity, and I ain't talking M&M, to make a good game. And then PS3 comes around, right? And the purpose is still there. We got one take, but only this time You got updates to fix your games now. If you want to play online, that is. And then that's carried over to the point where game developers has just been lazy. They've been lazy because they think that they could increase the graphics of games. God forbid any gameplay be damned, right? And it's all starting to come back and bite them in the ass, especially the big companies like Epic Games, EA. PS2 games were buggy as hell. I mean, compared to the shit that we have now, that shit was harmless. And this is how companies like EA and Activision can get away with putting out a new Madden or a new Call of Duty each year without having to take a step back and try to refine a bunch of shit to make something good. It's because of the fact that they stick with the same shit that got them to where they're at to begin with, the same faulty engines that they can only tweak a little bit here and there to, try to get return on investment. And it's not working anymore. People are seeing through the laziness. People are seeing through the uninspiring effort to put in games that are playable. They just want you to, hey, look at how realistic these graphics are. It's like they focus so much on graphics to the point, and I think Medicare brought this up on his Saturday stream, where these gaming companies have so many assets packed into graphics and all that shit that that's why their storages are so big. Like, look at Red Dead Redemption. At least Red Dead, they put a lot of effort into making that a good experience. But games like Madden, or even Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, how many unused assets were left in that final product that never saw the light of day? They get left in there, and now you have a hulking file size, an unnecessarily hulking file size, for a console that has only this much memory. And we're getting to the point where people are going to have to download 250 gigabyte games for a 500 gigabyte console. And people are like, oh, why don't you use extended storage? Well, sooner or later, those are going to run out because people are going to be buying them up left and right. And the demand's going to be so high that people are just going to say, fuck it, after a while. And that's why physical media matters. Because it gives creators, it gives game developers an incentive not to fuck up. And we talked about the Stop Killing Games movement numerous times here, whether it be an episode of the podcast or a stream like this. And this whole thing where you don't actually own your games, you just have a license to play them. Fuck you. Like, seriously, fuck you. If I bought something, it should be mine. Until the end of time. And this whole notion, right? Like, this is... Oh yeah, I've heard about the Formula One games. How much unused assets that they have because they just don't know what to do with them. They don't know how to filter out their own shit. It's... If people wonder why piracy has become a big thing now, it's because these media companies are always finding ways. These entertainment companies are always finding ways to shoot themselves in the foot and then blame us for the fact that they don't know how to aim a gun. We just had this thing in the anime industry right after the Vic Mignogna bullshit, where all these voice actresses and shit kept saying, y'all need to stop pirating shit. You can watch the stuff on Crunchyroll and Funimation and this and that. You should be accepting of what those streaming services put out. The problem is, those streaming services don't put out a lot of the original stuff that gives a lot of these animes its identity. Animes like Dragon Ball, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece. Like, a lot of their good stuff comes from what they've put out originally back in the day. Or what they've aired on public syndication through stuff like Toonami on Cartoon Network. And it's gotten to the point where the new stuff that they put out on these streaming services is shit. So that's why people pirate anime these days. It's going to be the same thing with gaming. You make yourself inaccessible, and you don't put any effort into refining a game that gives you immersion. Not through graphics. Not through graphics, mind you, but being able to get immersed in the experience through the gameplay. Worth the minimum wage. I mean, they would sell their own fucking parents out for a Klondike bar. I mean, that's how Adam Sessler managed to get back as a big name into the gaming industry. He got caught snorting cocaine at a PlayStation event. And then he sold his own family out for being Trump supporters just to gain relevance back within his own butt buddies in the community. And this isn't shit that I'm pulling out of my ass. It's documented. Like, this is documented. This shit happened. He said this of his own accord. People will sell out even their loved ones down the river if it means that little inkling of clout, just like these companies are. I'm on stream. Hold on. Okay, he's okay. We're ordering pizza at the house. I thought he was talking to me. I think he has it. Also, by the way, you're all talking about racing. Did anybody watch that IndyCar race at the White House? That was a fun fucking race, I gotta tell you. That was a good race. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is that gaming companies are really trying to shoot themselves in the foot by going digital. Because there is a market out there for people that want to collect physical. Because eventually CDs, they're going to become a rare. And I had this debate with Silver Fox, because he likes to collect cassette tapes. Because he used to work in a junkyard. He collects all the tapes of old record players and shit. CDs are eventually going to become a relic. And it would be nice. It's going to become a point of contention where they're going to become a bygone of an era. And not only that, they're going to be much cheaper. And I remember I talked to David Jaffe about this with the release of PS5. And I asked him, why would you pay $100 more for something that has a disk drive as opposed to a diskless? And he brought up a very good point. When you do the digital version, you are beholden to PlayStation's garden, right? You can only buy from the PS Store. You can't go to GameStop. You can't go to a local arcade that sells games from all consoles. It's its own garden. And when you poison that garden, people are going to be dropping left and right from eating out of that garden. And that's what's happening here. And that's why I think going completely digital in 2028 is garbage. Anyway. Alright, so there's been a little bit of a situation when it comes to GTA 6. For those of you who don't know, GTA 6, the base game, the coding for it, was confiscated by this massive hacker called CyberLeak. And he has been filtering out the version of the game to different people through crypto and all this other shit. And this has been going on for a while. And Take-Two Interactive has had to work with the US government and Discord to subpoena people that might have some type of relationship or some type of involvement in CyberLeak's plan. I saw that Dark Viper got subpoenaed by Discord, but I don't give a fuck about him. He can eat shit and choke on it for all I care. The real man that got Apollo Legend killed, not Billy Mitchell like his butt buddy Carl Jobs tried to have us believe. But anyway, a little bit of breaking news has come out. And that don't surprise. Andy's always got wacky conspiracies. Which, you know what? I don't dispute a lot of what Andy says, but I really wish sometimes what he would do is just look a little bit deeper into what he's like trying to espouse and be like, wait a minute here. You know, okay, so here we go. Breaking news. This is from Zap Actual GTA 6. CyberLeak has reportedly been found. According to emerging reports, the individual behind CyberLeak has allegedly been identified following Take-Two and Rockstar Games' heavy wave of subpoenas. And like I said, they've been trying to subpoena Discord to get access to people that have had talked about GTA in the past, that have been airing shit about GTA 6 as well. If confirmed, this takedown could put an immediate stop to the leaks, effectively preventing any further drops regarding the prologue or full storyline ahead of the Netflix showcase. So, yeah, Rockstar is going on to Netflix to air like an exclusive look in light of all the bullshit that's happened because of these hackers. And it's just... And I think someone said it in Just Say Steven's comment section. You know, with all the stuff that we've talked about with the physical media drama and the fucking Stop Killing Games movement, this is actually going to hurt our case here. It's kind of like when you're a little kid, right? And everybody is allowed to go to the bathroom by themselves, and you have that one jackass kid that thinks it's so funny to take a shit in the urinal, and then the whole grade gets in trouble to the point where they have to have an adult present in the bathroom at all times while you all do your business and whatnot. It's the exact same thing here. Like, this CyberLeak dude is ruining it for everybody, because now all these companies and these investors are going to look and be like, man, these guys are a bunch of savages. We don't want to be dealing with them. We need to regulate them more. And they'll pass more shit to Congress for their respective governments. Especially, I'm kind of hoping that GTA fails, just so that everybody can fucking take a nice look at themselves and see how they've overreacted. It's like that scene from South Park where they finally get like the 2 million score on Guitar Hero, and everyone's excited because they've supposedly done a bunch of bullshit to get to the score, and the guys say, "You are figs," and they just looking like, what the fuck? That's exactly what's going to be like if GTA 6 flops. If it doesn't, good. If it doesn't flop, that's awesome. But if it does, I just want to see everyone's reaction. Alright? I want everyone to succeed. But at the same time, there's that little part of me that's just like, I kind of hope it fails so I can just look at everyone and be like, ha ha! Ah! You know, that psychic, autistic part of me. Alright, let's go into the sports world. Actually, before we do that, before we do that story, let's talk about college before we go to the NFL. So, there's been a little bit of bullshit going on in the world of college football. For those of you that don't know, the China virus happens in 2020, and college football is affected dramatically by this. To the point where if you couldn't play during the pandemic season, you were given an exemplary pass. So you could play another year, right? Oh, Iceman, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. But the point I'm trying to make here is that a lot of these players, in the light of the NIL deal, have taken too much advantage with this. And it has gotten to the point where the federal government has had to step in, and now these individual courts have been reversing a lot of the decisions that the federal government has made with their College Football Act. And now the individual conferences in these sports, such as the SEC and the Big Ten here, are starting to go after these guys, alright? Because ever since this rule came into play, a lot of these people that have been drafted or have signed a professional contract at some point before the NFL season have been trying to get back into college football. And now the conferences themselves are stepping in and being like, nope, fuck you, get out of here. SEC's done it, now the Big Ten's done it. This is coming from KCCI Channel 8 in Des Moines, Iowa. The Big Ten bars football players with pro contracts from returning to play amid NCAA eligibility chaos. It's coming from the Associated Press, or it's been corroborated by the Associated Press. Nice little drink of Red Bull, as my dad always says, Red Bull! The Big Ten became the first conference Tuesday to adopt a rule barring football players who have signed professional contracts from returning to play at its 18-member schools, as college sports finds itself mired in lawsuits and chaotic disputes over eligibility. The move came a day after the agent for former Mississippi tight end Daquan Wright said Wright could be heading to number 11 LSU thanks to the state-level court order allowing him and others an unexpected fifth year of eligibility despite an NCAA rule change in June impacting players who graduated from high school in 2022. I also saw that Diego Pavia is trying to return after his failed stint at trying to get onto a team in the NFL. And I think Castellanos is trying to return from Florida State. And literally as this story is breaking, someone on I think it was Nerdrotic's Discord, had shared that someone in the NBA that got drafted by the Boston Celtics was trying to come back to LSU when they got demoted to like G League for development. It's just a bunch of fucking bullshit. The Big Ten says its administrators unanimously approved the rule to permit football players who have signed a professional contract, were on a professional roster at any point, or declared for the NFL draft as an underclassman without withdrawing from maintaining eligibility for athletic competition. It did not rule out restrictions in other sports like basketball. Not anymore, Iceman. It used to happen. Like, I know, basketball does it. That's how we got, LeBron James. And I think, no, Larry Bird didn't do it. He held out another year before going to college, I think. And then he did the same thing because the rules back then were a lot different in the 80s. A head coach who plays a former pro will be suspended 50% of the season and his school will be fined. The topic is a hot one around college athletics. Wake Forest Athletic Director John Curry, chairman of the ACC's athletic department groups for the upcoming season, said his colleagues plan to discuss the issue Wednesday. Yes. Agent Drew Rosenhaus, Drew Rosenhaus told the AP on Monday that Wright had been waived by the Cleveland Browns, and if he clears the waivers, will join Lane Kiffin's roster at LSU. Wright played 2 seasons with Kiffin at Ole Miss. Okay. Kid racing cards going to... Yeah, that's about it. You're not too far off, Iceman. You're not too far off at all. Yeah, it's just, this whole situation is just a fucking mess. Because now with NIL, you know, the chances of someone making a professional football team on any level are insanely low. Insanely low. And now with NIL and people being able to get paid in valuations due to sponsorships in college, I think people are trying to clamor onto that and take advantage of an old rule through loopholes as a means to max out the amount of money that they earn from playing in the college level. Like, it's one thing to be paid for playing at the college level, but there has to be a balance. Okay? You have to balance this shit out. Over 100 athletes in multiple sports were cleared and said you could go play. That's a court order, Kiffin said Tuesday on the Pat McAfee show. If you think back on all the different court orders of great players that were granted, whether it's Diego Pavio or Trinidad Chambliss, that were allowed to play a 6th-year, we followed all court orders. Yeah, but your court orders were fucking flawed, Lane Kiffin, you stupid fucking snake! Fuck you! I think you get into a really interesting situation as a conference if you're now saying, well, we're not going to follow this court order. Because your court order's outdated! It goes against the very principle of what we're trying to prevent in this damn sport. Because these judges these days, they don't understand how sports operate. It's like this whole lawsuit with Carl Jobst and Billy Mitchell. Right? Like, a lot of these courts don't give a fuck about gaming records and shit. They probably look at the piece of paper and be like, what the fuck is this? I'm expecting a real court case involving a multi-million-dollar company or State Farm. They don't give a shit about this. They don't have any knowledge of it. That's why they have to get experts in to kind of break it down for you. Hey, this is what's happening. These are the things you need to look out for. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And it's just the biggest clusterfuck in the history of clusterfucks, as Jim Cornette always says. And I don't think it's going to be ending anytime soon. It's either, actually, if it does come to an end, it's either going to be with a bang or a whimper. Only time will tell. Oh, TCU coach Sonny Dykes, whose team plays North Carolina on Saturday in Ireland. That'll be a good game. It's Rollers ship right now. My question is, okay, you go and take 10 guys off an NFL roster and play them. Who's going to tell you that you can't? Who's in charge? What are they going to do? Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I don't know who's in charge of football anymore. I applaud the Big Ten for doing that, which I do too. It's time to put your foot down. Time to put the foot down and be like, no. You know, there are no more exemptions, no more loopholes and shit. You either do what we want or you're going to get punished for it. Yeah, it's just, this whole thing is just spiraling out of control. Speaking of organizations spiraling out of control, the 49ers have become a circus on par with days of our Steelers now that with stories like this. It comes from WGN-TV. San Francisco 49ers owner arrested in Ohio. At East Palestine, the home of the shitty water outside of Flint, Michigan. John Jed York, the principal owner and CEO of the San Francisco 49ers, was arrested in Ohio over the weekend. York pleaded no contest Monday to misdemeanor charges of disorderly conduct and possessing criminal tools. God, Ohio has some weird fucking rules. And I live here. I should know this. But yeah, I agree with you, Iceman. The basketball kids with the point shaving. That was a long time ago. God damn. He was arrested Sunday at a mobile home park in East Palestine located near the Pennsylvania border. There's his mugshot right there. Good Lord. Jed York, after being arrested in Ohio. According to the affidavit, York responded to an ad on a known prostitute website that, unbeknownst to him, was posted by an agent with a human trafficking task force. So he basically pulled a Chris Hansen on this dude. The document alleges that York arranged to have sexual activity in the woman in exchange for $140. Damn, that's a pretty good deal. When he arrived at the agreed-upon location, York was taken into custody. That's why you always gotta look at the ads. You always gotta look at who's posting them and shit. York was charged with engaging in prostitution, but prosecutors amended that to disorderly conduct. The criminal tool referred to in the second charge was the cell phone used to facilitate the other offense. Okay. So if you use your phone, it's basically a tool to commit a crime. Okay. That makes sense. But here, someone pointed this out. Yeah, I think it was either the G&G Discord or Nerdrotic. Why would you go to Columbus when prostitution is illegal here? Like, you're the owner of a team in California, buddy. And also you're like south of Nevada. Or north of Nevada, I should say. Nevada, prostitution's legal! What, there are no good hookers on the Las Vegas Strip? You have to go to a trailer park in the middle of buttfuck Ohio to get you some good pussy? There's nothing down there in the Las Vegas Strip, buddy? Damn! I'm just saying, bro. But yeah, the 49ers are an absolute shit show. You got this guy being arrested. The man that supposedly runs your organization trying to solicit a prostitute in the middle of shithole Ohio. You got players getting injured left and right. You got players allegedly getting injured because of the fact that their training facility is right next to a fucking power grid. And you got this whole segment with Brandon Ayuk. And you got everybody either sucking off Christian McCaffrey or trying to cut his dick off because, damn, he's not that good of a player. Let's shoot him down. Yeah, the 49ers are about to be just like Days of Our Steelers or the bickering Bills or Team Turmoil back in 93. They're literally going to shit. I kind of want to see how the train wreck happens. I'm invested. I'm invested in the train wreck. Speaking of train wrecks, let's talk about this fucking piece of shit right here. So this has been on my feed for a while. If you don't know who this dumb cunt is, her name is Lindsay Clancy, and she's currently on trial for, are you ready for this? Murdering her 3 children in an act of rage and trying to kill herself. And now, you got all these dumb cunts lined up in the courtroom saying, oh, it's not her fault. Oh, she was in a manic rage. The father is really the one that murdered them. And all this shit. They're literally defending a monster. Okay, let's just think of the circumstances. Here, hold on. I'm going to enlarge my screen. Okay, let's just listen to the circumstances that I just said. A woman goes on a fucking rampage, right? Gets into her feelings. Gets into a manic mindset. And responds by murdering her own children before killing herself. Would you like to know where I've heard this fucking story before? Would you like to know where someone like me has heard this type of shit before? Would you like to know a well-known case of someone murdering their loved ones in a fit of rage before killing themselves? Some of you listening to me might have had a few examples. But if you're a pro wrestling fan, that description should be setting off alarm bells. Yeah, it's Chris Benoit all over again. I don't think I need to tell you all about Chris Benoit. For those of you that don't know the story, Iceman, that's a different woman, by the way. Chris Benoit, one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time, phenomenal athlete, had some of my favorite matches ever. He brutalizes his wife, brutalizes his 7-year-old son, and hangs himself with his lat pull-down machine. And many people have had speculations on why he did this, whether it be through repeated head trauma, through CTE, his use of anabolic steroids that caused him to go into a rage, or not having a support system. It wasn't just him losing Eddie Guerrero, by the way. Cultaholic, they did a whole documentary about the Chris Benoit murders. They brought up a good point. It wasn't just Eddie. Him and his wife had lost a lot of good people in the wrestling business. A lot of these people were great friends. A lot of these people were their support system. And their support systems were depleting at an exponential rate. And it all resulted in this man doing the unthinkable. Okay? To all the women who are sitting here defending this piece of shit. If you think it's okay for her to murder her 3 children, do you think it's okay for this man to brutalize his wife and child? It's the same fucking thing. And I bet a lot of you are probably sitting there wondering, but the difference is, he's a man and she's a woman. Then you're the problem, you stupid cunts! I don't know what to say. And this morning I get a video on my feed from a Tozy. Great YouTuber, you should check him out. You got all these TikTok psychics trying to do all this type of psychology and body language bullshit. Oh, I'm getting a reading. I'm getting a reading, guys. And this is the most prominent one right here. Her name's Callie, right? Let me see if I can find this fucking part. This part, right? I think it was this part.
She's pulling out of nowhere.
There is some darkness, some dark entity. And actually, this is because Lindsay was a very light worker, almost like she was a nurse. She was a light worker.
Okay, listen to this stupid cunt right here. It's one of these things. First off, TikToks, these psychics are not real, okay? Anybody that tells you that they're a psychic, they're full of shit. Now, do I believe in the supernatural, like ghosts and spirits and stuff? Of course. But I think that those type of entities are in such a different realm of understanding that we as human beings don't have the necessarily technology or nature to be able to go to that dimension, be able to tap into that dimension. And all these people that claim that they're psychic, I can't begin to count. And Super Eye Patch Wolf did a video on this, which is really good. You should check it out. It's staggering how many people have died from listening to psychics like this dumb bitch. You know, a child gets sick, right? The psychic takes advantage of the parents and says, oh, your child should be fine. in a year. 1 month later, that child is dead. And the parents are having to sit there and comb through the pieces. What the fuck actually happened? Was that psychic actually telling the truth? Or did they felt us? But listen to what this woman says.
He was very jealous of her, envious of her. He possessed no emotionality. He can only mimic emotions, but he doesn't.
What the fuck does that mean? Mimic emotion? No! That doesn't, there's no such thing as mimicking an emotion! You either, mimicking an emotion, isn't that the same thing as mocking an emotion? You see a woman crying and you go, crying. That's mimicking. That's mocking. Okay? Not this outlandish idea that you have in your head on how human emotion works. It's simple words. We use them every day.
Doesn't feel them on his own. So when he sees someone that's empathetic in nature, a mother, a nurse doing all these things, he gaslighted her for years, their entire marriage, that she was nuts.
So her conclusion is his only option was to take out his entire family? How is this a real person?
At least with Ben Wall, like I said, you have the... I'm not condoning what Ben Wall did. What he did was fucked up. But at least you can kind of understand what he was going through at this time. With this woman already admitted that she murdered her own children. She's already pled guilty. Why are we defending this cunt? What are we talking about?
This is just so concerning to me. Oh my. And then, of course, she ends her first video by saying plainly she believes that Patrick is guilty.
This man is guilty. The craziest thing to me is as I'm watching him commit these acts, the same way you see him in the courthouse with zero emotion is the same way that he did this.
Wow, and I...
Okay. What did she just say?
The craziest thing to me is as I'm watching him commit these acts, the same way you see him in the courthouse with zero emotion is the same way that he did this.
Excuse me? So, the fact that he had no emotion in the courtroom is automatically a sign of guilt? Hey, dumb bitch, and that's what I'm going to call you from now on. Do you not understand that people process grief differently, especially when they're in the public eye? Earlier this year, I lost my dog, right? I lost Mabel. When I was in that hospital, as they were putting all the drugs in her to finally put her down for good, I was beside myself. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. I was just in a whole different state of emotion. But as many of you know, I went back into streaming that day. Business as usual. How about when Brett Favre competed on Monday Night Football after losing his father? I mean, I didn't see any tears in his eyes when he was going out there to play his heart out and win the game for his father. But I'm willing to bet he was shedding a lot of tears behind the scenes when those cameras were turned off. We don't know that. I don't know that. You don't know that. Nobody knows that. Okay? What about all these... Here, let me give you another example. Okay, the RPMs are high. The miles per hour are at 60. Let's go up to 200. Let's go up to 200. How about all of these parents whose young ones were murdered in school shootings? Columbine, Virginia Tech, Sandy Hook, Parkland, hell, over in Beslan in Russia. Yeah, there were probably some mothers there who were stoic when they talked to the press and talked about how this violence happened. But I'm willing to bet a lot of those mothers after the fact, went into the rooms of their deceased loved ones, sitting there, reminiscing, thinking, coming to the conclusion that they're never going to see their loved ones again because of some psychos with a gun, whether it be a Korean with 2 pistols or a bunch of terrorists willing to bomb themselves for a religious ideology. You don't know if that husband, what he's been going through, if he's been crying. Hell, he knows that the public is on, they're watching him. He knows that the public eye is on him, so he has to keep a straight face. But I guarantee you, when he goes into that house and looks into those 3 empty bedrooms, those 3 children that he will never see again because his wife is a psychotic cunt, I'm willing to bet that those tears are flowing like Niagara Falls. And we don't know that. And it's not our right to know. You stupid, fake bitch. Fuck you! And fuck every single woman siding with this piece of shit! I need a break. Fucking society would be better off without these stupid influencers doing this bullshit, man. Fuck TikTok, fuck Twitter, fuck Facebook. No more influencers. Fuck that shit. Sorry, guys. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for going off the way I did. It really pisses me off. Good people either get shit on or die off. And yet we have to worship people that commit the most heinous acts. It's just ridiculous, man. And I get heated about this type of thing because that's all you can do. That's all I'm wired to do it because I'm sick of injustice. Okay? And this is a massive injustice. All these people and all the men, like you said, Iceman, that sit there and think that this is all right. It's okay for her to do it, but when this guy does the same thing, oh no, we should just ruin it. Erase everything about them. It's just dumb. And people who feed into stupid shit like this. This is why people are turning off social media. We need to make bimbo shaming great again, alright? This is why we need to make bimbo shaming great again. But let's go on to some lighthearted stuff. So something happened over the weekend. Because Iceman, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. So for those who don't know, there's this local arcade, right? Arcade Legacy. It's like a half-hour drive from my house. It's a very good place, right? And it's public knowledge. So I've been going there a lot with the fur friends. And in their store, let me see if I can pull it up right here. Yeah. So in their store, they actually have this massive array of different types of games. Old school games, the new school stuff, what have you, right? And in one of these cases, they had Mortal Kombat 2 for the SNES. And yes, it was an expensive cartridge. And I figured, you know what? One of these days, I'm going to buy that damn cartridge. One of these days, I'm going to buy that cartridge from inside this little thing here. And I'm going to do what Logan Paul did with a Charizard card. I'm going to wear that damn cartridge as a necklace. So one of the furs invited a bunch of us over. Here you can see the game, what is it called? The N64 versions right here. There's a good selection. Star Wars Battlefront Naboo. I need to get that game on PC. It was so much fucking fun. But I wound up getting that cartridge over the weekend. Alright. I wound up doing something. I'll be back again. I did it! I did it! I did it! I did the thing! Go on, Mache! But yeah, I'm so happy. I got it changed. Like I said, it's a parody of Logan Paul when he came out to that boxing match with the Charizard card. It's basically the same thing. Now watch! Some random stranger will come by this video and they'll be like, "Hey guys, the MK2 SNES cartridges are going big! FOMO!" Oh! Next thing you know, there'll be another fucking gaming craze. Game grading, all that other shit. Anyway, I thought that was great. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's funny. But we're going to continue the topic of Mortal Kombat. This will be the last thing I do. So, I should like email it and be like, hey, dumbass, get on my level. So I saw a post, since we're on the topic of Mortal Kombat. It comes from Fairway X. Shout out to Fairway X. He does a lot of good content, but he posted something on his community page that I thought was pretty interesting. I thought we could do a breakdown on our stream. So, let's see what you got. A Mortal Kombat opinion that would get you banned from the fandom. So, I'm going to go through this list. As many of you know, I'm a massive Mortal Kombat fan. I know the lore. I know the stories. I know the characters. I know everything. I figured, why not give my take on it? some of these opinions. But I do want to give some light to my comment. Because this comment I posted like right before I clocked in for work. I'm really sick and tired of YouTube's double standard where they punish Mortal Kombat creators for uploading fatalities one moment and then post controversial stuff on their front page literally the next day. So yeah, remember when I did that video of like random Mortal Kombat fatalities as a means to test YouTube's system, and it got age restricted? Yeah, literally a day or two later, YouTube has Israel and Palestine bombing the shit out of each other on their front page, and everyone's just like, well, that's perfectly fine. It's like, rules for thee, but not for me. Okay, I see how it is, YouTube. So we're going to go through some of this stuff. Some of these are just random, but we'll go through the ones that I like. Sub-Zero mythology was a pretty good idea and would have been pretty good. Yeah, the game itself was shit. I don't shit on it as much because there is some story aspect that kind of blends in to the first few games. But yeah. Fatalities are so much better when they're either funny or cool, not when they're drawn out and go on for 30 seconds after the opponent's already dead. I mean, fair. It really depends on what you're trying to go for, really. Like, Kung Lao's, like, little flower pot fatality, like, that's pretty interesting. You know? It's kind of like... it's kind of like a good joke. Alright, a good joke has a proper setup. If you have to take a long time to get the joke set up, then it's probably not funny to begin with. Okay? So, most of the time. Sometimes you can get away with it. We should have stayed in the original timeline. If Cassie Cage can beat on Shinnok after his god boost by that logic, someone could have beaten Shao Kahn in the original timeline after he got Blaze's power. I think Shao Kahn is actually lowballed in the original series. Because we already have an idea on how threatening he is. Like, right when Mortal Kombat 3 starts and he starts invading Earthrealm, like, right then and there, we already know that he is a shit wrecker. So I think, like, I understand where bro's coming from. I'll give him a like for it. I understand where he's coming from, but it's like an onion. You have to peel the layers to understand why it stinks so much. I feel like the Deception, Armageddon, and Shaolin Monks campaigns where you got to roam around and do stuff is the best thing for them to do. Fair. I actually agree with this. If we get a game like Shaolin Monks, Mortal Kombat has a chance to get revived. Kung Lao deserves better, based. Quan Chi is a cool character. This is actually a pretty cold take. A lot of people would actually agree with this. Quan Chi is not that bad of a character. And here's the other thing. I try my best to understand why people like certain characters. I'm not the biggest guy when it comes to Chris. Oh, why do you like this character so much? Or why do you like that guy so much? You're an idiot. Cassie Cage can easily take on. Probably. Yeah, most likely. MK11 is the only game with actual movie vibes in the story. Okay. The series peaked with Sujinko and Deception. It's had a couple peaks. It's been kind of a fugoid where one game is good, one game's decent, another game's great, another one raises stakes, and then we go back down. Mortal Kombat is slowly killing itself due to horrible writing across the games and live-action movies and not sticking to its gritty roots. The horrible writing across the games, I agree with. Especially after that shit show that was MK1 story, when they introduced Titan Shang Tsung. Like, I thought that was bullshit. That should have been the return of Onaga. The live movies, like the recent ones that they did with Warner Bros., have actually been very good. The first one was fine. The second one was leagues better. It was a fucking experience. Especially the Liu Kang Kung Lao fight. I think someone brings it up in this comment section. MK1, Johnny Cage. Yeah, I agree. The arcade era of games is held unfairly high due to nostalgia, despite being the least enjoyable to go back and play for fun. I disagree with this statement. I actually go back to the retro games more than I do the newer ones because I genuinely like them. There's a certain aura to those games, and I don't think that this is being done maliciously. Like, I understand where bro's coming from here, and I don't think it's malicious in any way. It's just, I think it's a little bit misguided. Like, I enjoy a lot of the older games better than the newer ones. Or even the 3D era one. Like Mortal Kombat 2. You saw it. I have it hanging on a chain for a reason, alright? It's just, it has a certain aura. And it has a certain look. That not a lot of games these days, not a lot of the Mortal Kombat ones can get a single grasp of. Like, when you look at the aesthetics for MK2... like, that is Mortal Kombat. The dark, gritty aesthetic. Just the style into the unknown. It doesn't matter if you're playing on the Armory or the Living Forest or on the Pit, right? It has a certain dark aura to it that not a lot of... I mean, the 3D games do a good job of it, but the newer games don't even come close to replicating that gritty feel that gives Mortal Kombat its identity. Iceman says MK1 mainly care about adding in characters that had nothing to do. A lot of people actually do point that out, Iceman, so you're not the only one. They should include it. That would be great. Humiliations like in Killer Instinct. Baraka is the most complex character MK has ever given us. Deaf so far that we still don't fully understand his background story in the original games. And in the new games, we know that Tarkatans are suffering from the... Okay. I wouldn't necessarily say that Baraka is complex. I would say he's darkly mysterious. And sometimes Barack Obama. Easy joke. Sometimes less is good. Like, I remember I was talking to a friend when we were at Dave & Buster's for another friend's birthday party. And we got to talking a bit about the Karate Kid movies and the Cobra Kai series and how they wanted to make a Mr. Miyagi movie. And I'm just like, why? Oh, but he's mysterious. I'm like, yeah, that's the appeal. He's supposed to be mysterious. He's supposed to have mystique. He's supposed to have an undefined aura about him. He doesn't need a story. Baraka, he's an evil monster from a horde of monsters in a different realm. Sometimes that's all you need to give a character an appeal. Oh, we need to tell a story of why he's savage. No, you don't. Just display it in his appearance and how he goes about in the story. It will speak for itself. You start, it's like I said, it's like an onion. The more layers you peel back, the more it stinks. So, minimal is better. And less is good. Looking at you, Toy Story. Yeah, I agree. Toy Story really do be falling into that. PS2 era. I do like the 3D eras. Armageddon's Motor Combat was actually good. Based. Motor Combat was fucking based. The Combat Kids should have come together in for another adventure. Okay. Striker is super underrated. Dude, MK9 Striker is actually really good. Suhao was extraordinarily important for advancing the OG timeline's plot, or literally one of the most pivotal characters in the series. Yes! But how they went about it after the fact was shit. Like, we know how... So, for those of you who don't know, Suhao infiltrated the OIA, which was Sonya's group. Sonya, Jax, Kenshi, and Cyrax. The Special Forces, right? He's a member of the Red Dragon. And he basically bombs the Special Forces as a means to lure them into Earthrealm to go after Shang Tsung and Quan Chi. So, yeah, you could say he actually has a pivotal story. Hell, you know what? I'll even do you one better. The alternate timeline kind of does him a good service, too. Because he introduces... It's his involvement with Kenshi that gets Takeda introduced to Scorpion. So for those of you that haven't read the comics, Kenshi is being chased by Suhao and the Red Dragon. Kenshi along with his son Takeda. And they get chased to this field. Well, the field is owned by the Shirai Ryu. And Scorpion just comes in and wrecks his shit. Which gives rise to the scene where Takeda is taken in by Scorpion to get training away from Kenshi because the Red Dragon is hunting down Kenshi. So yeah, I think Suhao actually has a more important role in the alternate timeline than the original. So I can see where you can get that. Me could have been a good. Goro's the sexiest. I mean, 4 arms can attract anybody. I'm just saying. Hanzo and Quad should have stopped being neutral. Okay, that would have been good. MK hasn't had an identity of its own for a long time. Yeah, true. I don't know why people think Draman is a slept-on character. I don't know where the potential is. Hotaru is a great character with a great design, concept, and biography. Design? Yes. Concept? Yes. Biography? Like, I understand being a zealot and trying to be a dictator for instilling order, but why the fuck would you then side with Onaga, who wants to end all of reality itself? Like, that shit doesn't make any sense. Rain is the best ninja. I don't disagree with that. I know a lot of people talk about Devora. Devora is not that bad. Like, the concept is great. Her execution turned to shit. It literally starts right as she helps with the revival of Shinnok. And she just becomes annoying. When she was on Kotal Khan's side, in the scene where she executes Melina, that shit had me dying, bro. But everything afterwards just made her intolerable. Making Scorpion and Sub-Zero... damn. Let me get another drink of Red Bull. Making Scorpion and Sub-Zero siblings was a good idea with piss-poor execution. Yeah, they kind of... The payoff was kind of underwhelming. I will agree with that. I think they should expand past the existing roster of characters in the next game and go the Great Kung Lao's template to properly reset the timeline. Fair. Yeah, they've done Kung Lao dirty. Reptile has one of the best storylines in the game, and they just never do anything with it. The last kind of a species trying to do anything to be back with his people, I always kind of loved. I will say they kind of do him justice in the original timeline when he becomes the vessel for the Dragon King. That is a part that gets overlooked in the original timeline, and I'm surprised people don't hammer onto that point more. That's one of the 3 things from the original timeline that I really wished people would just hammer onto. Dude, grinding for more. I liked grinding in Deadly Alliance more because there's just more content. Quan Chi is the low-key goat conspired to revive Shinnok from behind the scenes and washed Shang Tsung and Raiden in Deadly Alliance. Although he does get bamboozled in a resurrecting Onaga. So he has to hold the L. Oh, this is an interesting one. MK should drop realistic graphics in favor of a more flashy and animated art style. Okay, kind of go back to your roots. Cobra is an awesome character. You know what? In Deception, if you can get his pop-ups and his special moves down, Cobra's actually a really fun character. I don't know, but Fujin will forever be my GOAT, and he needs to come back in every new game. I will say, Fujin in the original games was boring as shit, but when he became DLC in MK11, they gave him personality, which kind of separated him from Raiden. Raiden's the serious, I have to protect Earthrealm. Fujin's just like, yeah, I'm a god, but hey, do you want to go drinking there, Boraicho? Like, that's cool. I like that. Liu Kang and Ta serve better. MK Aftermath just shouldn't exist. MK11 Azra looks like Marilyn Manson. Shaolin Monks is the best MK game, and we need a new... Ooh! The Liu Kang versus Kung Lao fight in the Mortal Kombat 2 movie is officially the best fight in the MK movie. It's one of the best fights in movies ever. Like, if you just watch that, please go watch it after this stream, if you have nothing better to do. It's just beautiful. It tells a good story while staying grounded in the world of Mortal Kombat. Like, that's awesome. I actually popped big time when I saw that in the theaters. It was just such a good fight. Tekken has been putting belt to ass on Mortal Kombat. In terms of story, sure. But in terms of gameplay, that's debatable. Because that's a game-to-game basis. There you go, Iceman. This is what they're talking about. This game used to be terrifying. Now it's just an outlet to sell guest characters that lost its soul. They have run out of ideas for the story of Mortal Kombat, and now the entire plot is a giant mess that is beyond saving. Yeah, this is the one thing I really fucking hate about Mortal Kombat 1. Like I said, the fact that they didn't bring in Onaga, but now we have this whole, multiple timelines are going against each other. I made this comment, it's somewhere in here. I'd be fortunate enough to find it. But the multiple timeline thing, it's like they were trying to do what Dragon Ball did with the Goku Black arc without understanding what made the Goku Black arc and the time travel in that particular setting practical and understandable. You could have just said multiple universes and I wouldn't have an issue with it. But when you get into multiple timelines, you're fucking yourself and you're insulting the intelligence of your audience because you're trying to it's like trying to recreate the Marvel Cinematic Universe by doing Goku Black. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any fucking sense. Frost and Takeda would have been a really cool setup where the masters make up and the students hate each other. That's cool. I like that idea. Let me see. I like going through this list. In my opinion, Mortal Kombat story needs a rewrite. Yeah, I agree. Basically, removing any plot ideas that didn't work out, fleshing ideas that weren't fully developed, learning what did and didn't work, and start everything back in square one. In other words, a retelling, a remake. Yeah. After MK4, the creator should have tried going the route of Kai being the main protagonist. Oh, that would have been interesting. You could still do the story for Deadly Alliance and have that as an extra factor, and I think that story would have been much better. Bald Jade is the original sin of MK. Fair. I did not. That's the only aspect of that movie I didn't like. MK10 should have been about raiding, gathering a group of heroes like Lee Mei, Ashura, Kenshi, Cyrax, Serena, plus Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade in a mission to bring back the heroes enslaved by Quan Chi. That would have been a good one. This one had me dying. Kitana and Liu Kang as a couple are about as interesting as watching paint dry. I mean, you're not wrong, but damn, it had to be that blunt. I mean, at least, like, Rose and Raiden in Metal Gear have a much more interesting story about love than those two, I will say. But yeah, everyone's got good opinions. Suhao is actually an interesting character and has great That I agree with. If you actually play as Suhao for a little bit, you'll come to realize he's actually not that bad of a character. I like how MKXD. Well, I disagree with that completely. Cole could have been a loved character if he had been written correctly. He's talking about the movie, which, yes, I agree with that. Yes. Annihilation's a good, but get the fuck out of here. Kano is the coolest MK character with the most. That, a lot of people would. Yeah. MK versus DC was peak. The character designs, the plot of the story, and the combos were peak. You know what? MK versus DC Universe is actually not that bad of a game. I think people were just upset because it didn't have all the violence, because DC was still in that era where they wanted to present their heroes as good guys, you know, and barely any bloody material for the kids. Nowadays, it's just gotten gritty and shit, and now we have a zombie series. We have Dark Knight Metal with the Batman who laughs. Man, what a change, isn't it? But no, MK vs. DC was actually a pretty good game, all things considered. Goddamn electric car, Bruce. Mocap is a great opportunity for a DLC character. I mean, if you can do it, great. Mocap is fucking useless. The Mortal Kombat OG isn't as bad as people say. Why didn't I see this comment? Oh, because it was, like, posted a while ago. Loki was the first to introduce character plots that games later took, like Raiden giving up his power to fight in the tournament. Yeah, dude, Mortal Kombat 2 has a lot of plot details that don't get talked about. Melina was gonna die eventually. Devorah was just someone who could kill her, and this should have been where she actually stopped. Fair. Yes. Like, murdering Scorpion did not have to fucking happen. Okay, this one I gave a like to. It's a fact, but people spun a different narrative, so I feel the need to state it. And I have my own opinion on this matter, but let's just hear them out. MK9 did not save Mortal Kombat. People act like it did because it's the first game they made after the Warner Brothers buyout. But here's the reality. The 3D era saved Mortal Kombat by financially bridging the gap until Warner Brothers approached them for Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. Midway was failing constantly throughout the 2000s, which is true. The 3D Mortal Kombat games were the only thing keeping them financially afloat. Once that didn't work anymore, probably because they panicked about their other failures and rushed their one load bearings game original timeline to an ending with Armageddon, and MK vs. DCU didn't do well. They were saved in by being in Warner Brothers' orbit. But they wouldn't gotten far enough to even do that if the 3D era games didn't deliver. MK9 was the first thing they made once they had the financial safety net of Warner Brothers. And it was an awful reboot that people downplay the shittiness of because they think it saved the franchise. It didn't. The prior games did, and the things they get is having half of their characters not used or mishandled if they are, and if their vastly superior storylines are even referenced. It's shit like MK1 redoing the Deadly Alliance, who are the victims of deception by a Damashi that's Shang Tsung instead of Onaga. That I agree with you with. I've been saying that the whole damn stream. So we can use the Pyramid of Argus from Armageddon for a completely different large-scale battle. No actual respect, just keep jumping. Okay. Let's take a deep breath. And take a nice sip of... Okay. So, I understand where this guy's coming from. Alright, the 3D era games did help Mortal Kombat. But the reason why they helped the franchise is not as far-fetched as you think it is. Because to understand why those games succeeded, you have to understand the times. Okay? There were no viable fighting games in the PS2 era. And I know that's going to shock a lot of people. And a lot of people are going to just put your pitchforks down and hear me out. Capcom had not put out a good Street Fighter game in a while. Like, once the 90s died off, they didn't put out a new Street Fighter until 2008. Literally the next console generation. So, Street Fighter was basically dead in the water for a bit. And people got turned off to Tekken because they didn't like the aesthetic of the fourth game. So a lot of people got turned off to that franchise for a bit, at least until the fifth game came out and kind of revamped everybody, because now they thought, okay, we have a more balanced game now, we can go play it. And tournaments, right? And what other game? I mean, Dead or Alive was a good game, but it had its own niche audience. Yeah, a lot of those fighting games, I mean, King of Fighters fell off because SNK also fell off during that time. Hell, your only good viable fighting games at that point had their own little niche communities. Like I said, Dead or Alive. Blaze Blue was starting to become big. Guilty Gear. And even then, they still couldn't hold a candle to the general masses of the gaming industry. So Mortal Kombat got big because nobody else was viable in that genre. Okay? Nor could they invent ways to make themselves viable until later on when we're already talking about a new generation of consoles, okay? So Mortal Kombat got lucky from that point on because there was just nothing really there to compete against it. I think the only game that could have truly done it was Soul Calibur. And even then, Soul Calibur had a small audience. The third one was so much better. That could have gone up against Mortal Kombat games in the PS2 era, I feel like. So like I said, the reason why Mortal Kombat had that much success was because fighting games in general were a lost cause. That whole genre was a lost concept. Mortal Kombat was the only ones trying to keep it afloat because no one else could do the weight. Could hold the weight until they put out later games. And it wasn't until Mortal Kombat 9 that the genre revived itself. Look back to 2011 when those Game Awards came out. Who was going up against Mortal Kombat then? You had Tekken, that just came out with their 6th game. Street Fighter 4, they just came out with another edition. And then SNK creeped back into the mix and came out with King of Fighters 13. Okay? So it's all about timing. I get what he's trying to say here. And saying that the 3D games kept the company afloat. I agree. But not for the reasons that he's stating. The financial net for Warner doesn't really come into play until MK9. Because DC, the thing about it was DC was still a viable commodity at that time because of the fact that neither DC or Marvel knew how to... they didn't have the formula to make it into the big screen yet. Keep in mind, they had only come out with I think Marvel had just come out with Iron Man and Hulk by that point. So the MCU's cogs weren't necessarily turning yet. To the point where they could separate themselves from the pack. So you could get away with making an MK versus DC game back then because of that fact. They were still viable enough commodities that weren't as distinguished as they are now that the cinematic universe is a thing for Marvel. And now DC tried to replicate it and it didn't really work for them. Hopefully that makes sense. Reiko was made worse by Mortal Kombat 1. He literally had more substance in the midway timeline. I actually think that the alternate timeline Reiko doesn't get talked about. Dude's literally sleeping with Melina in the comic books. And that's another thing that just gets randomly glossed over. I'm like, guys? I found the Rosetta Stone right here! Deadly Alliance has my favorite version of Reptile. Fair! Yes, that version of Reptile is fucking just... Ooh! Chef's kiss. The only reason MK is so heavily monetized, worse than EA by now, which I disagree with. I think EA is much worse. And filled with DLC is because fighting game players are the biggest chumps. They'll dump $5 no hesitation for a SpongeBob guest character. I mean, you're not wrong, but they are fucking chumps. A lot of those fighting game fanatics are chumps. And here's the thing, they bought into the monetization hook, line, and sinker, much like with the EA guys. The reason why they're worse is because a lot of these guys are doing it just so they can suck off all the NFL players at these big events for like the Super Bowl and shit. Mortal Kombat players are just doing it for the sake of just beating their meat off in their own bedroom. So this comment right here talks about how we need to have a game with the Black Dragon and the Red Dragon, which I think is great. Also, I noticed that many opinions about add more characters from shows they got to use. No! I think they should have added more characters from like the main games. MK4 had the best fatalities? Okay. Deception's the best Mortal Kombat. I've always had that for a long time. Darius is so... Yeah, Darius... I think there could have been a lot of potential for Darius. Mortal Kombat is better when it's less focused on gore, more focused on fighting. Again, balance. Oh, I replied to this one. Yeah, I remember this. So this guy here. Some of my hot takes, Mortal Kombat 4 is underrated. I agree. The multiverse time travel concept is killing the franchise. I also agree with that. Dead characters should remain dead forever. Recycling is also killing the franchise. I said okay because it depends on the context that you're trying to bring back characters, you know? I mean, there's some characters that deserve to remain dead because they don't really have a place in the story when they're revived. Like a lot of the people that were revived in Mortal Kombat X due to Quan Chi. But yeah, you could dispose of a lot of the players or a lot of the characters, and it wouldn't really hurt anything based on what you're presenting in the next game. The background story of both Draman and Rain has the potential to make them great villains. So I replied and I said, after seeing Rain's arcade ending in MK11, which you should see because it's actually a really good ending. I can explain it here, actually. You can make a really good case for him playing the archetype of the anti-villain similar to Mr. Freeze or Solidus Snake. Someone that does evil acts for a good cause. So for those of you that don't know his ending to MK11, let me see if I can actually pull this up. It's a really good fucking ending. And you could have really made something out of this. Here, I'll actually pull it up this time. And ending. Here we go. But yeah, it's a good ending. So, for those of you that don't remember, Rain is the half-son of Edenia. He was basically born to the gods of Edenia. So he's basically a half-god. A demigod. But there is a plot point in this story that does not get talked about nearly as much as it needs to. And I'm going to play it right now. It's from his arcade ending. Take a listen.
Chronica was dead, the hourglass taken, and Edenia's future mine to command. I had obtained all I had wanted. All except that which I had wanted most, to know the true story of my parentage. That I was a bastard I knew, born of an illicit affair between the Edenian god Argus and a mortal woman, Amara. But what I didn't know, until the hourglass showed me, was that I and my mother were both victims. She hadn't abandoned me. Thanks to my father's lies, she had thought me stillborn. I was stolen away and left to rot among peasants, while my mother died from grief.
Okay, the RPMs are raising here, okay?
Argus hid his scandal and his shame by killing the one person who ever loved me. For that, he will die. As will his sons, Taven and Dagon. His beloved wife Delia, she I will let live. Let her heart break as my mother's did, as she weeps over her children's corpses.
Okay. Let's go back to that comment I just left. Whoop. Zoom in. Let's go back to that comment. Okay, just think about that plot for a moment, all right? He's the bastard son of an Edenian god. And his mom dies from heartbreak due to the lies of that said god. What that makes for a great story right there. You could literally make him an anti-villain. Just that plot alone, you could have him doing all this fucked up shit to Edenia for a good cause, because his upbringing was a massive lie. I mean, why wouldn't you be mad about that? Why wouldn't you be upset? Why wouldn't you want to take your revenge out on that realm? Especially on your own creator, who is a fucking piece of shit. That's a good... I would kill. We would literally pillage villages in Africa for that type of plot in a game. So I see where this dude's coming from. Because the more I think about it, I'm like, yes! More of an anti-hero character, especially if he seeks revenge against Shao Kahn. Why would he seek revenge against Shao Kahn is what I don't understand. The only issue that I see that he has is with Quan Chi. Because in the original timeline, he's pissed at Quan Chi because he abandons Draman and Moloch to fend off Scorpion. Because Scorpion's chasing Quan Chi after the events of 4. What I mean by staying dead is story-wise, unless those dead characters are discussed in flashbacks or continued through other characters. But even if they have no role in the story because they're dead, they can still be playing a role in the roster. Okay, so I do understand where he's coming from with that. So we reached the same destination, but we took different routes to get there. Gotcha. But yeah, a lot of good takes here. Movado is better than Cabal and is more iconic for... Okay, in the PS2 games, sure, but the alternate timeline games just utterly destroy that argument. Cabal uses his hook swords like it's nobody's business. But yeah, I don't know. If I see anything here... Did I reply to this? Oh, I did reply. So this guy says Warner Brothers owning Mortal Kombat has been proved to be a long-term mistake. Sure, they would release MK9, X11, but MK1 had no soul and is flooded with DLC content, and Invasions absolutely sucked. Invasions was hit or miss. The concept was clever, and I do like what they were going for that story, but yeah, it's whatever. MK will be dead in no time. And I said, well, hopefully the Paramount buyout will give rise to a series of... Which I hope it does. I hope Paramount can kind of pick up the pieces and make something that will last a lifetime. But yeah, a lot of good opinions, a lot of basic ones, a lot of Jack's dropping Jarek off the... That is a really funny moment. Hold on, let me pull this shit up. This shit had me rolling, bro. This is peak. I swear to God, this is peak. I don't give a shit. This is the best one. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Yeah, it is this one. Yes! Yes! Okay. I gotta get large screen for this shit. It's the worst. It's the best and worst ending in any Mortal Kombat game. It's the best horrible ending in a video game ever. Just this is so beautiful.
It's over, Jarek. Shinnok is dead. The good guys won. You're coming back with me.
Never, Sonya. I agreed to help defeat Shinnok, not turn myself into the Special Forces. The Black Dragon, live on!
The Black Dragon died with Kano. You're the last one, Jarek.
Never!
Bro, just Roman Reigns speared off the damn cliff.
Come in, Major Briggs. This is Lieutenant Sonya Blade. What?
Sonya, this is Major Briggs. Come in. Sonya, this is Jax. Are you there?
Damn.
Going somewhere, Jarek?
Oh no!
I thought you were going to. Thought I was what? Dead? Like my heart being just tossed off the cliff? I'm sorry, Jax. Please, don't drop me. Wait, I promise. Too late, Jarek. You can't drop me. You have to uphold the law. You have to arrest me. Wait. This is brutality. You can't do it. Wrong, Jarek. This is not a brutality. This is a fatality.
That's peak Mortal Kombat. It's so bad. Oh, shit. It's so bad, but it's so fucking funny. I think we're done. You know what? We're going to end it right here. I know I got fucking heated earlier on stream, but at the same time, I'm sick and tired of injustice. I'm sick and tired of people awarding bullshit and stupidity. And we need to start shaming people again. I honest to God think that we need to just start shaming people, start calling people out by name. If they say something stupid and it gets highlighted, good. Start shaming them, start going after them. And this whole thing about, I'm a creator and I don't condone harassment. Fuck you! Grow a set of balls. Anyway, who's available to raid? That ending will never not be funny, and I will not be told otherwise. Okay, who's live? Who's live on the Twitch set? Oh, Brosev's live. Who else? We got Brosev, we got Weak Egg, Happy Gal you can't raid. Fat Steven. Let's go raid Brosev. What's he playing right now? What the hell are he playing? Playing Grand Theft Auto. Playing some GTA! Okay, let's go say hi to him over on the Twitch side. I might go live and stream some GTA. I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna go raid Brosev. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all. Yes, we went through all the emotions tonight. I got angry. I started laughing. You know, it was a good stream. But, you know, just at the end of the day, don't be afraid to fight for the truth. Even if you have to scream it from the highest rooftops, even if you have to motherfuck someone, don't be afraid to get your opinion out there. And if people don't like it, they can piss up a rope. Come on. Alright, let's go say hi to Brosev. We'll be back tomorrow, guys. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys later.